Today we're going to talk about Workbook 6A Exercise 5. We'll use a textbook page 17 and 18 to do that, and the exercises ask a little bit of a different kind of question actually than the textbook does at this point, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, of all the things we'll do this year, we're not showcasing the loveliness of my abilities when you have me draw things. So these are poor sketches, but that's why you have the textbook in front of you. You're looking on page 17, and you see a much nicer drawing of what's going on. But what they would like us to do is to trace and cut out the figure and fold it along the lines and see that you get a figure that they call a cuboid. A cuboid means a three-dimensional cube. It's going to fold up into a three-dimensional object, and here's what I would point out. I'm going to fold this, and this line, corner, edge, I should say, will be against that edge. Let me just use a bunch of colors here. This edge will fold up against this edge. And what I'm assuming here, by the way, is that this is going to be my base. This is going to be, let's call it the back wall. This will be, and I'm going to run it like this, this will be the front wall, because it's going to be standing up. Just picture that standing up where you're actually reading the words correctly. And then this will be the top. And really I should write it like this also, because when you fold it up, that'll be the top. So the wall on the top right here is actually going to go against this wall. Can you picture that? It's a bit much to picture, but especially if you cut it out. That's why they say cut it out, of course, and look at it. That side will match up with that side, and I'll just let you get the idea for this. Of course, the different sides on here, this one will match up with this one, and it will go on like that. And the two flaps will be the two edge pieces, the left side and the right side. Okay, so we're beginning to try to teach your mind, your brain, to think about flat 2D pictures and imagine them becoming 3D pictures by how you fold them. If you turn on to page 18, the workbook part of this is very small, or the exercise textbook part I'm trying to say is very short today, but on this one we're trying to trace and cut the figure and fold each figures to form a solid. Let's think about what this one is going to do. It's going to have two triangles and three rectangles. When I fold this, this side and this side are going to meet, and this side and this side are going to meet on both edges, right? Now theirs is a much nicer drawing than mine. You'll have to pretend like mine are all the right sizes. But what's going to happen is it will fold to look like this. Notice that the two triangles become the bases, and then notice that this figure has three rectangles, one here and one here. Those are obvious, and then of course the one in the back here is your third rectangle. Okay, so this figure folds like that. What happens with this other one? Can you picture it? Can you start thinking about it? Make this your base, and each of these folds up, so what happens? We end up with triangles that go up to the top of a pyramid. And so each of these sides is in the shape of a triangle, and there will be four of them. And then of course I have my base right there at the bottom. So when you begin looking at them, start thinking in terms of what will it look like when I fold it up? How will this fold, and which edges will meet, and what will the final picture look like? Now in the exercise in the workbook, all of the problems are actually done so that you're given a picture and you're asked if it will fold to form a cube on the first page, or if it'll fold to form a cuboid on the second page. My suggestion to you would be to look at a picture and think of it as base, and think about the left side and the right side and the back and the front and the top, and see if you can think about it all folding up to work that way. If it doesn't fold up to work that way, then you don't have one that will be the right, that will fold up to be a cube. Another important thing when you're thinking about a cuboid, technically the cube has 6 faces the same size. A cuboid has 6 faces, not necessarily the same size, but they do have to match up. If I think of this as the base, it's fine to think of this as the back, the front, the left side, and the right side. What do I need for my top? Is this the right size for the top of that cube? And the answer is no. That won't work for the top because when I try to cover it, it won't cover. The top would need to be the same size as the base. So I could put one over here and make that the top, but I can't put a small square on this side to make it the top. So you need to think about what direction it folds, and then you also need to think about the size of the pieces that are there and make sure that they will work for the particular face that you have. Okay, so that's all for exercise 5. It is, again, it might make your head spin a little bit trying to picture it and make them fold in your mind, but you can always take a piece of paper, trace them, cut them, and make this an arts and crafts activity as well, okay? All right, go ahead and work on exercise 5.